Hello. In this week's episode of Venture Capital, we discuss perception versus reality when it comes to stock valuations. Also coming up, the UK versus the EU on bankers' bonuses takes an unexpected twist. The third largest economy in the world, Japan, in recession. Plus, cocoa costs, burgers are back, and Tim, he talks post. That's all on the way. But first of all, Apple is now worth more than the entire Russian stock market. Now, one is being boosted by strong product sales, the other plagued by Western sanctions, a weak ruble and falling oil prices. Now, Apple's market capitalization is now at a record high right here of nearly $700 billion. Meanwhile, the capitalization of all Russian stocks is at about $530 billion. But can this really be right? Well, we're going to talk to an expert on exactly that right now, American broker and author Peter Schiff. Hi there, Peter. So when it comes to Apple versus the Russian stock market, this new valuation, is it a fair assessment? What exactly is going on here? Or is it perhaps a perception problem?
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily about Apple, more so about the Russian market. And I remember back in the late 1990s making comparisons at that time between various dot-com stocks that didn't even have any earnings exceeding the market caps of entire countries where I was investing. So I do think that in general, you have an excess overvaluation in the United States. And I think the Russian stocks, obviously on a relative basis, and not just the stocks in Russia, but in other countries, particularly in some of the emerging markets, are very, very cheap by comparison. And so you really have, a tale of two extremes. You have the mania of bubbles in some economies, and then you have the mirror image in others.
If you've got the choice of buying Apple or the whole of the Russian stock market, what would you do?
Well, I think I can own the entire market cap of Russia versus just Apple, then obviously I think I would take Russia over one company. But Apple is not our most overvalued company. I mean, Apple is generating a lot of profits. Whether they can sustain that in a highly competitive environment is anybody's guess. But there are a lot of companies that might be better examples of absurdity. You have lots of companies that are probably, have significant value relative to the Russian market cap that have no earnings whatsoever, have never had any earnings, and probably never will.
And what would be an example of that?
Look at Amazon now. I mean, Amazon is losing money, and you've got all these companies, private companies, that haven't even gone public yet, like in Uber, where you've got, $20 billion market cap. So think of all the pie in the sky valuations being assigned to relatively young U.S. startups. Yet you have mature Russian companies with tremendous real fixed assets, plant and equipment, natural resources that are basically being given away while people are paying ridiculous prices for an empty promise of a future that may never materialize.
Peter Schiff, Chairman of Euro Pacific Bank, thank you for your thoughts today. We do appreciate that.